Rich.
Hi, Michael.
How are you?
Not great. It's been a rubbish week, but I'm looking forward to doing the podcast with you.
That's lovely. I was worried then you were going to bring the mood down and make it really dull and boring, but luckily you just managed to grasp it again. That's great.
Okay, should we introduce Tom?
We're not going to have any chit-chat whatsoever. We're just going to jump straight in. How's your week been, Rich? What have you been up to?
I've been back at school, so back to work, and it's been crazy. We've just turned everything into a test centre. The kids have been gagging and sneezing down the corridors to try and get rid of all the... Oh, it's just been awful. But here we are.
I walked the other day and a toddler just stood right in front of me and just coughed and sneezed right onto my leg. I was like, great, thanks for that. That's lovely.
It's good job you don't have like any ears or like noses or porous things near your leg though.
That's true. I do have an ear on my leg. This isn't going in.
I know, it's fine. This will just be that episode of all the shit things that we put out.
How was your week, Michael? That's what you're looking for.
All right. And how was your week, Michael?
Oh, thanks, Rich, for asking. God, I didn't
anytime.
Wish that at all. It was good. It was fine. Very worky, but my weekend was lovely, and I managed to go on one really beautiful walk in Worsley.
By the canal.
By the canal. That was a really nice walk with a friend. And then I caught up with another ODLer in Hume. Went for a walk around Alexandra Park, which was very nice as well. So yeah, very walky weekend. Got my 20,000 steps, so I was happy.
Well, I went for a city walk. I thought I'd break myself up a little bit. I'd redone all my Spotify playlists. Felt rubbish that it wasn't summer yet, and thought, right, I'm going to go into the city and feel like I'm connected. And I ended up doing about 3 hours walking around the city in Salford Quays, and I felt really good at the end of it.
Yeah, you said, didn't you? Because you heard a song and it reminded you of summer, and then you felt sad. So
yeah, but then I also went down Canal Street and thought, actually, I don't miss this that much. So it was quite nice to reconnect.
I was listening to my Spotify weekly playlist, and they prompted me with Groove is in the Heart, Groove is in the Heart. And I was in a gay bar in Edinburgh a few years ago, and I swear to God, they played a remix of that lasted about 3 hours, to the point that I couldn't even stand up anymore. And but it just made me sad because I missed that kind of like...
Well, I rediscovered on Spotify that I can see what my friends see, or what friends are listening to, and you're on there now, so I can quite often see what you're listening to, and it's never from this decade, or even the last decade. So it's from
never is.
The past.
A while ago, I was listening on repeat to "Didn't We Have a Lovely Time the Day We Went to Bangor?" So yeah, I just get some really weird stuff on there.
Banging banger.
Or having a gang.
Introduce our guest.
Let's introduce our guest. Let's do it.
Right, we've got Tom King with us. Hiya, Tom.
Hello. I sound really uncertain after your discussion about music and a song I've never heard about Banger.
I don't think anyone's heard about this song about Banger. It's probably for a reason.
We have a lovely time the day we went to Bangor.
Right, well, Tom King has done 353 events, would you believe? Although I believe that doesn't actually include all the ones before the new website.
Yeah, I think that's more.
So probably more than 353. But I think that doesn't really count because most of them are climbing events which happen every week.
What do you mean that doesn't really count?
It does count. Don't you dare. Oh, I'm Rich. I go on a walk, up a mountain, takes a few hours. Oh, I've done so many events, whatever,
I've done plenty of walks up mountains as well.
Exactly. Thompson loves.
Yeah.
How many years have you been with OutdoorLads, Tom?
I am not entirely sure. I think I moved to Manchester in 2010. So it's either 2010 or 2011. So wow. Quite a long time. So long that I can't go back and look at my history on the website.
No, I know, I tried.
Archived.
I normally stalk that far back, but it wouldn't let me go any beyond that. And the first event I could find was climbing. And the next page of events was all climbing. So I gave up after that.
Can you remember what your first event was?
It was climbing, yeah. I remember, I can't remember exactly what made me want to start climbing again. But I do remember moving to Manchester and thinking, I want to do something outdoorsy.
So did you climb before?
With school. So we'd done little bits. We had like a little, what I think was a bouldering wall or a traverse wall. Now I know more about climbing in one of the sports rooms.
Sports room.
Yeah.
What are those rooms? One of them,
yeah. Well, one of them was like behind the sort of where the stage was. in the main hall with the auditorium, there was like a random, like what must have been a traverse wall. I don't know where it had come from. But we used to, at school, we used to do quite a few sort of weekends or weeks away.
So, I mean, anyway, I'll interrupt your story then. So then your first event, ODL, you came along.
Yes, everyone was lovely and very welcoming. And the leader at the time was fantastic and really helpful and really made me feel very welcome. Because I listening to the other podcasts, I know you guys have said it was really scary going to your first event, and I was exactly the same. Sort of sit in the car park, climbing centre, and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't go in. Why am I doing this? And everyone was really friendly and really nice.
Yeah, I remember my first climbing event because, so I did bouldering for ages because I'm scared of heights. And my first climbing event, you two should both hopefully remember, because Michael, you taught me how to climb.
I don't remember that.
I don't know if do you not remember? I've been waiting for the right podcast for this.
Are you sure it was me that taught you the first week? I'm sure I got you a week or two after.
Yeah, it was definitely you, because
I think I do remember, but you'd been bouldering for months and months, hadn't you?
yeah, I was fairly, and I knew what I was doing in terms of climbing and stuff. It was just tying. It was tying in that I wasn't, and I didn't know how I'd react that high off the ground.
Was I a good leader?
Yeah, you were a good leader, actually. Yeah, I remember when I was all the ways of tying knots. I still remember, poke it through the hole and things like this. And
No, because I don't do that. So some people do all this stuff, and like they do when you used to tie laces when you were a kid, and it was things like watch the mouse go round the hole or whatever it all is. And I just need to be told, make 2 loops, put them together, and do that.
Well,
I don't need the cartoon kind of idea. And that's what some people do. This whole thing of like make an eye and poke it through.
No, you've got to make a snowman and then like put a scarf on him and put a carrot on his nose.
That's it. Make
well, that's the Christmas one.
Through his eye. What? No.
You told me to make a figure of 8 and then and I do remember you just follow that around again.
Yeah, but that's the bit after you've done the initial knot. I don't have to create a narrative. Make a man put his scarf on himself, pop his all that through. Let's not go into there. But I just tend to say
I think that was the way I was taught, so that was the way I've just carried it on.
Imaginative.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because when you teach new people to climb, there's always that you do the bits where you get. So you show them, you ask them to do a little fall off the wall, nothing scary, just like say, just climb up a little bit higher, and you let the rope, you just loosen it a tiny bit, so then when they fall off and you catch them, you can show them just how safe they are. But when you do it the other way around and you get them to belay you and for them to like catch you when you fall, like most of the time that's absolutely fine. Never has anyone ever gotten injured from that, because there's always someone there that's also got the other end of the rope to make sure that if they do anything wrong, they still catch them. But I always make the same face, and I kind of turn around and smile at them and go, see, it's not that scary, is it? And they always go, no, it's not. And I did it once, and I don't know what happened, but I did fall quite a lot further than I was expecting to, and everyone who saw me on the one side saw my face like scorched in horror, and then turned around with the same cheesy smile, and I went, see, it's not so hard, is it? And they were like, no, it was fine. I was thinking, oh, they're a little murderer.
I don't remember the first time belaying. I remember the first time climbing because of that scared of heights thing. I cannot remember belaying at all.
Do people know what belaying is, Rich?
What?
Do people know what belaying is?
Oh,
listen to the podcast.
That's all right. Well, you're the climbing leader. I'm not a climbing leader. You tell me.
Oh, I've set myself up there, didn't I? That was stupid.
Exactly.
Belaying is just the technical term for the person on the ground who takes in the rope. So the climber climbs up, and the rope, there's slack in the rope, so they're just taking the rope so that it's taut, so that if the climber was to fall off, they're not going to go anywhere. And also the belay is like the safety device.
I do that one in a fun way. So that's the one where I do, and again, this is hard to describe in a podcast, but when you're doing the hand movements, that one is you've got I do it as
2, 3,
the V shape to a knee, and then with your arms 1, 2, 3. So I'm like V, knee, 1, 2, 3, and then look that.
That's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, of course it is. It's a fun way.
I was more thinking about belaying, because I mean I switched from a belay plate, which is like it's the device that the rope goes through to give extra friction to catch the climber.
Or plate, yeah.
And there's different styles suiting different people and different types of climbing. And I use one that's called an assisted braking one because that allows it. It just means that it will catch it as well. You know, it doesn't all rely on the belayer. There's an element of it catching with the extra friction.
I was going to say there's also the added safety element. If you are a belayer, that there's you can get a sandbag and attach that to your waist, so that if you are climbing with someone that you feel is a bit heavier than you and they're coming down off the wall, and you, even if you're the most confident belayer in the world, but you still feel a bit like, if they come off the wall, if they fall off the wall, the tension that's going to pull on that rope is going to then pull me off the ground. You can wear a sandbag. But my favorite story is I was climbing.
Sorry, wear a sandbag is just the way you said that. Well, you're going to wear a sandbag as an accessory. Just
the funny thing is that with sandbags, you have to clip them into like in between your legs. So I always think that it's like an extra heavy pair of, you know.
It does look like a big heavy ball sack. I had someone climb with me once, and I won't name them, but they are in OutdoorLads, and they'll enjoy this because they deny this ever happened, but it did happen. I was climbing with them, and they are much lighter in their frame. They looked at me up and down, and then just went, "Yeah, gonna need a sandbag." I was like, "Thanks, that's great." I mean, I agreed. Yes, you will need a sandbag, but I was also like,
it's perfectly common. I mean, you see it happen in the centre all the time. I mean, a lot of the time you see it, especially when you've got sort of mixed gender pairs climbing. That's quite common. But
I've seen people sort of go up the wall by about 3 or 4 meters, if not more, people who are belaying, because someone's been lead climbing, so they're quite technical type of climbing, and they've fallen off quite a large amount of rope, and the person below them has just shot up. But because there's so much friction in the system, sort of all through the ropes and all the attachments on the wall, you don't go any much further.
And again, without the lads, there's always that extra, like, we always give that extra training and stuff to teach you how, not only to teach, you get taught how to fall, which seems like a really silly thing, but there is actually a proper way to fall, even though it comes through your head, a million miles a second. There's also the best way to catch someone when they do fall, and it's just it just comes down to the way in which you stood whilst you're belaying.
Exactly, and that's the really key things. Actually, you've got to experience it. That's why we teach it when a new person comes, because they need to know what to do or know how it feels like when they've actually, before it just happens out of shock. So
I mean, a big spring climb, which happens or has happened annually for a while, where everyone across the country goes to one city to climb together over the course of a weekend. So bouldering, climbing, lots of different things. But there's also some courses on that they put on. So and lead climb falling is one of them. So there's a whole range of people. There's courses designed for people getting into climbing for the first time, and there's courses for people who want to push themselves to the next level. And I keep meaning to sign up for the lead fall climbing ones, but I've done lots of lead fall practicing with just me and someone else. But it's one of those things I'm going to have to do because I need to get comfortable with falling if I'm ever going to get any better. But it's still absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it's one of those. Climbing is like one of those things where you can just sort of build up your experience. You can just go and sort of do top roping, which is where the rope's already there, and that's the safest bit because the belay's on the ground and the rope's not going anywhere, and that's easy. But lead climbing is a bit more extreme, isn't it? So you have to build up your confidence and build up your skill set.
Well, tell us about Sheffield then, Tom, because you helped set up or helped train.
I think there was a desire from a few people in the city. So Sheffield, if anyone knows it, is basically sat at the bottom of the Peak District. Part of the city is the Peak District. And the Peak District is one of the best areas for outdoor climbing. There are so many crags and sort of just rocky areas. And there just wasn't any climbing in Sheffield. So for my sins, I think I volunteered to try and help them get started. And it was amazing, the number of people that started coming, and within maybe 6 months, we were already up to 10 or 15 people coming regularly, and they formed their own little sort of social group, and we were getting newbies coming really regularly, and people that were scared of climbing, scared of heights, and ironically, people are always colorblind when they come climbing for some reason.
Tons of
Looking
us.
at one person, but sorry,
tons of us.
I think the key thing is you've got really experienced people in the group. There's a lot of people who, like I said before, there's a lot of people who've got so much experience that they can really help you develop your skills, and actually they're really on the ball, so they keep up to date themselves with new guidance or new procedures or something like that. So that then filters down through all the leaders across the country, and then that filters down to all the members. Whereas if you were just climbing on your own, you potentially wouldn't get that. And we have really good, especially sort of locally, and I know sort of in Liverpool and some of the other climbing centres like Sheffield, that we've got really good relationships with the climbing centres as well. And then like Manchester Climbing Centre has provided us with free events in the past, because we're such a regular sort of group.
I swear to God, sometimes they know we're there just because they're playing Donna Summer on the radio. And I'm like,
yeah.
That's
I'm sure.
Well, last time I was doing fall practice at Awesome Walls in Stockport, the centre was really quiet, and I hadn't noticed because I was so panicked by the heights and things that they changed their playlist specifically for me, and it was the dramatic playlist of like cinematic music, and every time I felt like it was perfect. I would just fall. It was da 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 da, and I'm falling off this wall.
That's the thing. I think climbers are so like friendly and so sort of like, it's such a community, because everyone's like there for a particular reason. And do you know what? There's so much experience, so much knowledge around inside Outdoor Lads and within a climbing centre that everyone's willing to help and just have a laugh about it.
But again, like if you're listening to the podcast, you know, if you're in an area and you're thinking, I'd love to do climbing, but there's no one that climbs near me or something like that. It's even just about emailing or texting or asking about, saying, you know, I really want to do climbing. I live in X and I know there's a climbing centre not too far away. I'm really interested in climbing, but there's no one around here that does it. And I can guarantee there'll be someone that would say, I'll travel there to teach someone else to climb, to have a go. I will do any climbing centre tourism in the UK, because I know that Outdoor Lads in Manchester went to one in Edinburgh a few years ago that was like 7 speed.
Yeah, so in Edinburgh they've got what is an old quarry, and they've put a roof over the top of the quarry. Effectively, basically, they've just built a building over the top of the quarry. So you go in, and it's ginormous, and it is amazing. It's outstanding. So you can actually climb on rock that is inside, but they've also got sort of artificial walls there, and then they've got a little outdoor bit. So there's like an outdoor bit of the quarry, and the Outdoor Lads said, "Well, do you know what? Let's arrange a weekend and let's go up for everyone who wants to across the country." And we ended up hiring the student accommodation from Edinburgh University, which was great. And this big group of us went up. We got up there separately and just went climbing on the Saturday. Sort of went out for a meal, went out for a few drinks. But on Friday and Saturday night, it was great fun. And I think that was the prelude to Big Spring Climb. So that's where it started. Was get everyone together from across the country, all the regular climbers, and let's make it a big social event.
Right. So I've never been skiing or snowboarding, and I don't think I'd be any good. How on earth does anyone get into snowboarding and such?
The thing is, like, Outdoor Lads is an outdoor group, and there's quite a lot of people who like skiing and snowboarding. I know someone who's quite close to me, my boyfriend, who specifically joined Outdoor Lads because people are into skiing and snowboarding. He is a massively keen snowboarder.
I actually remember the night that he joined, and it is pretty much all he talked about in the bar after bouldering. And I said I don't even think Outdoor Lads do that, do they? And then I was very much mistaken, because they said that they do. They go and, I mean, they don't organize snowboarding. They will facilitate
going together.
Going together in the accommodation for going to something that's snow pride.
Well, yeah, I think in the UK they do indoor, where you've got it sort of indoor slopes, like I can never remember what it's called in Manchester now, Chill Factor, or there's Escape over in Leeds. They do organise events there, and that's specifically what the other half joined for, was actually to go and do stuff indoors, because in lieu of not having mountains in the UK that we can go snowboarding and skiing down every winter, that's the closest we can get. But like you say, Michael, yeah, Outdoor Lads does arrange a group of us to go together to the 2 Snow Pride events that are run in Europe every year.
Yeah, there's Snow Pride and Gay Ski Week, isn't there?
Yes, European Snow Pride and European Gay Ski Week, and I always get them confused together.
I mean, could you go to one of those events and not ski or snowboard? Could you just sit around with a hot chocolate and drink all day?
Well, one year, someone who I went with basically did that. I think he must have skied for about 2 mornings and basically just partied and stayed in bed, shall we say, for most of the week. But yes, you could. It would probably be a bit of a waste of money because skiing is quite expensive. They are, for people who want to go skiing, which is amazing. It's like one of my favorite things to do because you get exercise, you get the beauty of the mountains, you get to be with friends. We tend to go in March when the weather's really nice, so it's really sunny, so you get tan, and you can sit at lunch and sit out on these beautiful slopes in this like wooden built sort of like restaurant, drinking a beer. We're surrounded by your friends, and there's great music going.
But if you're going to go skiing, it sounds like a great place to go at the same time, doesn't it? It's like I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I can go skiing and have a great weekend, but also combine it with all the social aspects.
Because there's the thing, like there's the day social element, and then there's the night social element. So you can join the ski groups. Basically, they set up ski groups of people who are a beginner skier or beginner snowboarder, intermediate, advanced, and then you go off with a guide, and they sort of take you around all day, and then they all meet up in one restaurant on a slope at lunchtime, and then you can all have a chat, you can meet up with your friends, and then actually if you wanted to, you could just go home and just make your tea in your apartment, or you could go out for dinner and go back to bed. But actually there's also a lot of other people who want to go, and they do pool parties. Each night tends to be have a theme. So I think for Snow Pride, which was the one we went on last year, that unfortunately was cancelled because of the pandemic restrictions, there was a night that was supposed to be, everyone was dressed as white if you were new, so you'd never been to before, and everyone who'd been before had to dress as blue. And then there was like a superhero night and a sailor night, so everyone had to dress up like this. And it's great fun like that. And the good thing about Outdoor Lads is they arrange an event, so everyone books themselves onto these events, but Outdoor Lads sort of congregates us all together, so it collects us all together and says, right, this many people, and it can be sort of like 40 or 50 people, maybe 30 or 40 people who are going, and so we all know who's going. We're a group, we tend to know each other as well because through other events, and then we can get together. So this is what happened last year on the first night, which also happened to be the last night. All the Outdoor Lads group guys got together and we had a big party in this bar, and it was fantastic, and it was a big blowout. It was just great fun. Yeah.
If you've got an idea for something you want to say to us, a voice clip, maybe one of your favourite Outdoor Lads memories, then go to the Outdoor Lads website, About Us, find the Outdoor Lads the podcast, and there'll be a form for you to fill out to send us some content.
If you're a member of ODL and you fancy becoming a leader, why don't you have a look online at the website About Us, Become a Leader. Are you ready for a game?
God.
No, because you said it was terrible.
They're always...
This one is particularly bad. I'm not going to lie.
I'm sure it'll be lovely, Rich. I'm sure. I know. I'm sure you're very proficient at things like this.
I'm slowly running out of things to come up with for games. So, my dear listeners,
I liked the "Where Am I" one. That was quite clever.
Well, I might come back to that one. But my dearest listeners, if you come up with any ideas for games, please send them in to me. I'm always looking for ideas. Right, anyway. We are going to play Craig's Price is Right, which is like Bruce's Price is Right, but with items from Craigslist. I have lowered myself into the world of Craigslist. Oh my God, it is terrifying. This world.
I thought Craigslist was an American thing.
Well, so did I, but I've been through the London pages and I've come up with 6 items that I want you to guess how much they are being sold for on Craigslist.
I'm not entirely sure I know what Craigslist is.
Is it like Gumtree?
Yeah, but it's even worse. It's even worse.
Is it Gumtree for sex? Is that what it is? Gumtree for gay sex or just any sex?
No, it's not even that. I mean, to be fair, I didn't look at the selling services. I only looked at the selling
services.
I only looked at the selling items bit. So,
do we have to guess how much people are, or how much you are?
It's not people.
There was someone who's selling themselves as a slave.
Okay,
so,
it's people.
I didn't book that one, so you'd be
When's he arriving?
So, my first one is New Balance 547 very used trainers.
Trainers.
Yeah, very used pair of New Balance trainers, multicolored with visible signs of wear and tear. UK size 11.
35 quid.
35 quid. What
I
you
would
go
have
for,
said
Tom?
50.
I mean, remember, they are very, very, very used. And I can see them. They're god awful. But Michael, you are the closest, £30. Right, second item. This is for 3 tickets to the Euro 2020 game, England versus Scotland, that's been rescheduled for 2021.
God, I'd actually pay if someone gave me tickets to a football game. I'd pay to not have to go to the football game.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Although equally, there's quite a lot of people in OGL who like football. But...
Oh God, of course there are. I don't know, 3 tickets.
Yeah.
500 quid.
All right, Tom.
Well, I was going to say 300, thinking that they'd be like £100 each, but
well, you're both wrong. But Michael, you're closest again. £3,000.
bloody hell!
Oh my God!
That can't even be real.
Hey,
I'm
that
not doing very well at this.
Right, 2-0 to Michael. Number 3, a screen, so a monitor screen, but it's cracked. He's bought a new one. So he just wants to get rid of the old one.
A tenner.
I can tell you it's 24 inches.
What about the screen? That would be painful, wouldn't it?
That would be biologically impossible, wouldn't it?
Wait for it.
This is coming from Gloucester. Tom's going for a tenner.
Yeah, I've gone for a tenner.
I will go for £27.
Well, you are closer with £27 because it's £250.
What?
For a crack. It doesn't say how big the crack is, pardon me pun, but the it must be very small for a 250 quid monitor. Right, are you ready for the number, whatever number on number 4? So it's currently 3-0 to Michael.
Yeah, I wish it was 3-0 to me. I'm getting trounced.
This is from High Wycombe, and it's men's fun undies. My collection of fun undies, all medium or large.
Fun undies? What does that mean?
Before you buy. Please note, price shown is per pair, and not per collection. So the price per pair, and there's 5 individual ones, so the price per pair.
Did you say they were used?
Yeah.
Oh, is this like a sexual thing?
Yeah. It's just like a big thing on the black market, isn't it? On the black web.
Ooh.
So how much per pair?
25 quid per pair.
Tom?
30. I don't know.
It is only a tenner per pair. This guy is not expensive. 4-0 to Michael.
Tom, it's because actually I'm selling all these items on Craigslist, and I just I'm even saying it like American. Craigslist.
So moving a little bit further on, but of a similar genre, some worn girls' socks. I think they are women's socks, by the way. Worn women's socks for sale. They are 1 year old, foot size 5. Serious buyers only.
Serious. I'm a very serious buyer of worn.
Serious sock buyer. Yeah.
Well, this seller is also okay for people to contact them with other services or other commercial interests.
Oh.
So, 1 pair.
So the last pair was the last item was tenner, wasn't it? He said it was £10.
1 pair. I'll go £6.
£6. Tom.
Oh, I don't know. £20.
You're spot on. Well done. £20.
£20 for a pair of
Do I get an
socks?
extra point? Is she hot?
Yeah, you should get an extra point because you're really.
Really need it, yeah.
And my last one is magazine with stunning guys, Mike Arlen's guys, and it's there is no. This is the description. There is no other magazine like it in the world. Mike collects exhibitionists from their I was going to say barebacks, but from their barracks. They are among 21 stunning men in volume 15 of Mike Arlen's guys.
I really want to Google what Mike Arland is, but I think as I'm on my work computer, it might not go down very well.
Looks like a cowboy.
I was a bit like a cowboy.
An Italian cowboy. So what we're going for? One magazine.
25 quid.
25 quid, Tom?
£1.50.
£1.50. You are closer. £10 it was, including postage packaging. So we end with Michael on 4 and Tom on 2. So you pulled it back a little bit. But that was Craig's Price is Right.
I mean, I'll just use the same thing twice.
Craig's Price is Right.
Well, I think you've outdone yourself, Rich, because that is by far the worst game you've done so far.
Well, like I said, people can get in touch with anything they want to play. So, Tom, how have you enjoyed your experience on our wonderful ODL podcast so far?
It was lovely, thank you. It was lovely to have a nice chat with you boys. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you very much for putting a smile on my face.
Well, that's the end of this week's episode. Join us next week when we're joined by Dr. Tim Hewson.
This podcast was recorded by Michael Amer and Rich Laverick, and the music's by Scott Holmes.